shining a light on the women creating an impact, leading organizations, and mission-focused strategic programs across the federal technology and consulting community. This is Impact. I am being joined today by Carrie Kramer, the Vice President, Federal Civilian at MetaPhase Consulting. Carrie, thank you for hopping on with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me a little bit about what you do over at MetaPhase.
Sure. So I absolutely love working at MetaPhase. Every day is sort of a new adventure. I specifically am responsible for supporting our delivery across our federal civilian team. So that's something like 20 or so different agencies across the federal civilian landscape.
Not a small job then.
No.
So tell me how you got to where you are. What personal experiences have you found most rewarding in shaping this journey to where you are today?
Oh my gosh, what a great question, Marianne. So, my journey has been one of twists and turns and hills and valleys. Honestly, if I was to think back of kind of how I ended up where I am today, really I can summarize it by being willing to say yes and take risks. I've been incredibly fortunate in some situations to literally be standing in the hallway, right place, right time, and say, I've never done that before, but I can figure it out. So really, in a nutshell, those are some of the things that have been the most opportunistic for me as far as figuring out, sort of where I've ended up. I will say, as far as some of the things that have been the most rewarding is really just being able to say that I still have some of the same relationships that I established back 20 some years ago when I started my career.
Wow. Tell me, what methods do you use to stay inspired and continue your growth as a leader? And how can you turn challenges into opportunities?
Oh, I love this question. One of the things that I would say that I do to sort of keep my gas tank full, if you will, and to stay inspired is I am continuously looking for the good. One of the things that I'm always saying at work is, what does good look like? And that changes, right? The bar is always moving and there's different ways to look at things. So part of that for me is making sure that not only am I encouraging others to recognize what good looks like, but that we're always learning. I'm a lifelong learner. I love to read. I love to learn from everyone. I literally spent Memorial Day weekend this year studying and taking a certification, which at this point in my career is probably something not everybody is enthusiastic about doing. But I think that sets a good example, but also, quite frankly, if I'm going to be effective in supporting and helping, I need to be willing to roll up my sleeves and really help the team and jump right in.
Continuing to always learn, I think, is really, really important, especially now in the age of like AI and IT. Back when I first started out in news radio, we were using reel to reels. So there was no technology, no digital anything. So now, if I hadn't continued to be learning, I would be out of a job. So it's very important.
Same here, absolutely. And at home, my husband and I are very proud to have three lovely young adults. They're growing up and leaving the house and all of those things. And really, they inspire us to continue to learn as well. There's no way we could even navigate how to even communicate with them at this point if we weren't staying on top of some of these things. So.
Honestly, sometimes my son knows how to do things that I don't know how to do. I'm like, fix this. I don't know what I did.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And it's so fun to watch, all of the opportunities that are available to them. I mean, we have our youngest is in high school and he's taking cybersecurity classes.
Ooh.
Pretty amazing, right? I mean,
that's very
exposure, cool. To some of those types of things at that age. But those are the things where you watch somebody follow their passion. And so I think that's actually another super important point, though, Marianne, is as far as staying inspired, figure out what it is you are passionate about and make sure that you have space for that in your life, whether it is cybersecurity or continuous learning or combining those two things, or really just learning how to be a more effective leader. There are all different ways and modalities that you can continue to learn, but also, most importantly, continue to give back.
That's so true. How can organizations create more supportive environments to nurture and mentor women to become more emerging leaders?
One of the things that I would say we do so well compared to back in the day, when I was just starting out my career, is having more access to formal mentor programs. I've worked at large businesses, I've worked at small businesses, I've worked in between, and I will tell you, it's really the common theme these days. Most organizations do have some sort of mentor program. And I would say not only can you encourage a more formal approach to mentoring, but also make sure that there's the space in the organization to actually participate. So I think those are some of the key things as far as being able to nurture a more supportive environment. But the other thing is really integrating as far as your talent management program, making sure that you're recognizing those high performers, but also that high performers are, there's different ways to measure that. It's not just for a business development team or not just for somebody who has outstanding technical acumen in one specific area. There are different ways to recognize and different types of high performers.
That's really important to be recognized for your work.
Yeah, but I think back again, 20 years ago, I don't know if many organizations had mentor programs or if they were exclusively for senior leadership or a specific type of track. And so I think making sure that that is, again, applied more liberally across organizations is very important. And I've seen that. I think it's actually a really good positive trend that we have seen. And, I would like to see that continue to mature as we move forward.
Okay, so then let's look into the future. What exciting trends or developments in the workplace do you believe will positively shape the future of leadership, and how can leaders best prepare to embrace these changes?
One of the things is just the accessibility of technology. I come again from the lines of you join an organization and you are an architect track or your, business development track, et cetera. I'm seeing a lot more cross-functional development these days. And, even with folks that I have had the opportunity to work with and support folks on my team, they are broadening their access to the types of things that they want to develop from a skill standpoint. And a lot of that is really, I think, based on the fact of how accessible AI is and how accessible, some of these new platforms, the whole concept of citizen developers, et cetera, right? So technology is just one piece of that. But as far as other exciting trends and developments from a female perspective and as a mother, we have come light years in being able to really live the values of work-life balance and to be able to recognize that it is possible to have a career and support a family, et cetera. So hybrid work environments are a great example as well. Having a little bit more flexibility than we used to historically, I think are also exciting trends that I hope will never change and will continue to improve.
I totally agree with that. I was working remotely before it was COVID cool, and I've spoke to so many people about how it was so great to be able to, if my kid was sick, run out and grab him quick and not have to get somebody to cover for me or ask somebody for some time. And I like that other companies now that we're post-COVID lifestyle are recognizing that that's something that's sort of necessary.
Yeah, there's nothing that beats a face-to-face conversation at the end of the day, but I think that people are more intentional now as far as the value of those versus, everybody commuting and being in the office to be in the office because you're in the office.
Right.
And like you say, knowing that people are bringing more of their whole selves to work actually allows you to, like I said, then follow some of the things that are your passions. And, you're willing and able to actually give more because you have some of that flexibility that wasn't always there.
Carrie, is there anything else you would like to add?
I just am very thankful for the time that you have given. And, again, I've been incredibly fortunate in my career to have access to folks that have been there for me. So I'm very committed moving forward, over the next 25 years to make sure that I'm doing the same to pay it forward. And I would just ask others who have been given great privileges to do the same.
And also, I want to congratulate you on being a winner for this year's Forum 2024 Impact Awards. So congrats on that as well.
Yeah, I really appreciate that recognition. I'm very pleased and honored to receive that. I'm a very humble person, so I'm still a little bit surprised by it, but I definitely am, again, if it's a good representation of all of the things people have been able to afford me, I'm really happy for that.
Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope you have a wonderful morning. Take care.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you're keeping up to date on the latest episodes and learn more at govforum.io.